What I thought we'd do today is guided imagery, uh, which basically involves listening to someone spinning a story that you visualize deeply in your mind. And if you aren't good at visualizing things, you can just almost bring yourself a sense of the presence of whatever the image is. And research shows that guided imagery can be really helpful, particularly like anxiety states like preoperative procedures. And I'll be sending you a handout that has links to some really cool guided imagery sites on the internet for everything from radiation therapy to anxiety to sleep. So you'll be able to explore this on your own at length. But it's a little different from traditional mindfulness meditation. Meditation is really about bringing your attention back to your internal experience, following the breath, noticing that you're thinking, practicing releasing thoughts. And basically it's not a way to feel better. It's really kind of a way to see how we make ourselves feel worse, with kind of these built-in habits of mind, like the negativity bias or the inner critic, or the way we're comparing ourselves to other people, or worrying about the past and the future. So mindfulness is really more about seeing what's going on and trying to meet that with equanimity, with balance and kindness. But that means that the mindfulness meditation is kind of an active practice. Okay, you you need to notice what's going on, return to the anchor, be aware, and it does require some effort and discipline. But traditional guided imagery is much more of a passive activity. Okay, you press play, and the words and the music carry you away. I won't have music today, probably. It sounds like you guys had a drum circle yesterday, so hopefully you've had plenty of music. But the point is, guided imagery is often goal directed, such as having more confidence or less pain, or you know building on your spiritual path. And so guided imagery is done to achieve a specific result, whereas mindfulness is about being with what is. And in this case, I'm going to offer the idea of using guided imagery as really part of a mindfulness practice. Okay, this idea of observing yourself, partaking of the imagery. Okay, just being mindful of how the imagery affects you, and perhaps even using the imagery as a way to cultivate certain qualities. In this case, what I'm going to do, just like one of the classic all-time fave guided imageries, which is called the mountain meditation, which is about really establishing a sense of balance and equanimity despite what life and our mind throws at us. And we'll maybe even use the images of the mountain as a way to kind of creatively work with ourselves, to enhance these things. So in a sense, guided imagery can be really wonderful because if you do want to work on something specific, it can help you do that. Or let's say you're just worn out and you just need somebody to take you away for 10 minutes, rather than sitting there and meditating, you can put on some guided imagery and it'll do that. The downside is, if you approach guided imagery as a way to feel better, you know our our primitive mind can sometimes get in the way. Is what happens is, you're going, wow, I want to do this imagery, I want to feel better, and that primitive mind leaps up and goes, wait a minute, something's wrong, we need to be more attentive, we need to be more narrowed down and engaged. So recognize that it's perfectly reasonable to use guided imagery to as a way to feel better. That's what the research shows that it does. But if you're doing it just as a way to feel better, sometimes you might get frustrated because you may be a little more overwhelmed and the imagery doesn't work, and then you can give up on the whole thing, the whole idea of working with the mind. Or you can be like me when I started doing this, spend like an hour on the internet trying to find just the perfect guided imagery, and actually not even meditate or doing anything at all, just this grasping for some response. So recognize you can use guided imagery as it's designed to achieve some state. But in this case, I'll invite you to use it as a way of just seeing how your mind responds and seeing if things come up. And if you find that it is resonating in terms of stability or equanimity, just recognizing that that quality is within you already. and we're just using the imagery to help you recognize that and to uncover that and to cultivate it. And because we're human beings, everyone may have a different response to this. So if I start to do this and you say, wow, this isn't working, I have to be the rock for my family, and the last thing I want to do is sit around and think I'm a mountain. Just recognize that's normal too. That's perfectly fine. It's just we're just trying to meet whatever shows up with maybe some awareness and kindness. But having said all that, let's go ahead and try this. And again, this is probably one of the guided imageries that goes back decades. It's part of the mindfulness-based stress reduction series developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn. So it's time tested and proven. Again, having said that, your reaction may be different, and that's perfectly fine. But hopefully you'll find some utility here. So I'll invite you to maybe find a position that'll work for the next 20 minutes or so. Whatever that happens to be. Probably since you're at work, it'll be in your office chair. So take a minute to just find something that is comfortable, maybe giving yourself a little bit of a twist or a stretch, just this idea of just settling in. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. Lots of times with guided imagery, it helps to have the eyes closed, but you can also just be looking down with, partially open eyes or a hooded gaze. And perhaps just as a way of arriving, start maybe with a few deep breaths, if that feels right. Just really intending to pay attention to the breath here. Feel the oxygen coming in, the lifting, the rising of the body. Then allow yourself a long, slow release. This gets the parasympathetic nervous system going, adds a little bit of calming here. Just one more time. Then letting the breath return to normal. And we'll go ahead and maybe just check into the body briefly. Okay. As we try to settle in here in the middle of a busy day, there's probably some lingering tightness, that tension almost like a flywheel. It just kind of hangs with us. So check with your body and see if there's any tension that wants to be released. Remember, this is a practice in and of itself, just giving yourself the self-care of noticing what your body's doing, asking your body what it needs, and just softening and easing, maybe through the jaw, neck, shoulders, to the chest, the abdomen, just releasing any tension that just doesn't need to be there. Just really recognizing and appreciating the fact that you're giving yourself this time to do something that we know is true and healing. And settling into the chair. Maybe as you sense the support in the chair you have, realizing that this is our contact with the earth. They call Earth Mother Earth for a reason. It offers us this support, this strength, this groundedness. Maybe feeling that strength, that power rising up to hold you, to support you. Just softening into the security of that feeling. And then maybe spending a moment settling into the sensation of the breath. Just letting the breath be like a gentle rocking motion, internal caress, and recognizing that as we do this, particularly in the middle of a busy day, the mind's going to jump in with thoughts, things that must be thought. So rather than fighting that, rather than struggling with it, rather than trying to suppress it, as we go through this meditation, just allow yourself to label that. That's just thinking. Okay, your mind just is trying to take care of you, keep you safe. Maybe not very skillfully, but just maybe a little smile. Yeah, thank you, mind. Thank you for those thoughts. We're going to do something different now. So practicing releasing the thoughts, letting them be, and coming back to this practice, the body, the breath, just allowing things to flow easily and naturally. And then as we begin to settle in here, I'll invite you to let an image form in your mind's eye of a mountain you know or have seen, or maybe a mountain that you can imagine. Just letting it gradually come into focus. Just recognizing for many of us, then we start flipping through a list of mountains. What's going to be the perfect mountain for this meditation? So just smile at that. That's what our minds do. And just seeing if you can just settle in on the idea of a mountain. And even if it doesn't come as a visual image, maybe using all senses to just sense the presence of a mountain, feeling its overall shape, maybe the lofty peaks high in the sky, the large base rooted into the solid earth, perhaps surrounded by other mountains. Maybe there are steep slopes or gently sloping edges to the mountain. And just letting it come fully into your mind, maybe even hearing the sounds, the wind in the trees, sounds of birds, animals, the smell of pine, that fresh air scent, maybe even the feel of the breeze on your skin, the sunlight. Just noticing how solid this mountain is, how beautiful it is. Really populating this image. Maybe there's some snow, maybe not. Maybe some clouds, maybe rugged granite faces, streams, waterfalls. Just maybe taking a little bit of pleasure here, just enjoying this mountain, this connection with the earth, noting its qualities. And excuse me, when you feel ready, imagine just reaching out with your arms, wrapping them around the mountain and bringing the mountain into your own body, sitting here, so that your body and the mountain become one. Just sitting here, sharing in the stillness and majesty of the mountain, breathing, softening, just allowing yourself to become the mountain. Just feeling what this means, grounded in this posture. You become the peak, the sides, the base of the mountain, rooted to the earth. Perhaps drawing up the energy of the earth with each breath. Becoming this breathing mountain, alive and vital, but yet unwavering in your stillness. Just completely what you are, beyond words and thought, centered, grounded, a secure presence. And as you sit here, just becoming aware of the fact that as the sun travels across the sky, the light and shadows and colors are changing, literally moment by moment in the mountain stillness. Realizing the surface of the mountain teems with life and activity. Streams, melting snow, waterfalls, plants, wildlife. Maybe visualizing how night follows day, day follows night. The bright, warming sun, followed by the cool night sky, sparkling with stars, the gradual dawning of a new day. Through it all, the mountain just sits, experiencing changes in each moment, constantly changing, yet always just being itself. The mountain remains still as the seasons flow into one another, as the weather changes moment by moment, day by day. Just this sensing this calmness that abiding in all the change. In any season, the mountain may find itself enshrouded in clouds or showered with rain or snow. None of this matters to the mountain. It just remains its essential self. Clouds may come and go, seasons may change, but the mountain's magnificence and beauty are not changed one bit, whether seen or unseen, sun or clouds, hot or cold, day or night. It just sits, being itself. Recognizing at times the mountain is visited by violent storms, buffeted by snow and rain, winds of unthinkable magnitude. Yet through it all, the mountain sits, grounded, strong. Then after the storm, spring comes. Flowers bloom in the high meadows and slopes. Birds sing in the trees once again. Streams flow with the waters of melting snow. Through it all, the mountain continues to sit, unmoved by the weather, by what happens on its surface, by the world of appearances. Remaining its essential self through the seasons, through the changing weather, the activity ebbing and flowing on its surface. In our lives, we too experience constantly the changing nature of mind and body, the outer world. We experience the storms in the outer world and within our own minds and bodies. And we endure periods of darkness and pain. But there are also moments of joy and uplift, of sunlight and song. And through it all, we cultivate the skill of remaining solid, balanced, open to all that happens, like the mountain. We can use this sense of the mountain, the energy of the mountain, to support our own ability to meet each moment with mindfulness, clarity, equanimity. And then maybe beginning to let go of the visualization of the mountain. Just allowing your attention to come back into the body, sitting here, feeling the breath, feeling the physical sensations in the body, beginning to notice the sounds, smells, tastes. Whatever you're experiencing this moment, it's okay. Just remembering that your mountain is always there for you when you need it. Perhaps recognizing that we can see that our thoughts and feelings need not be taken personally. Our emotional storms need not be ignored or denied. That the weather of our lives is to be encountered, honored, felt, and known, held in awareness. Always knowing that we have this deeper silence, this stillness and wisdom. That within us we have our own mountain, stable and strong through it all. Maybe just staying with the breath here a little bit. And just as a final moment, maybe as you release this practice, asking yourself, what do I need right now? A question we rarely ask ourselves. We're so busy attending to the needs of others. So with this sense of strength of the mountain, what do you need right now? And imagine that you're drawing that quality in with the in-breath. Just what you need, remembering the grounding, the strength that is within you, that is your birthright. Caring for yourself, offering yourself this. And then perhaps whatever it is you found that you need, as you offer it to yourself, begin to offer it to those around you with the out breath. Because if it's something you need, it's likely something we all need. So maybe just sitting here with this strength, with this sense of being the mountain, just bringing in what we need and offering it out. Friends, family, coworkers, students. Just recognizing we can offer so much more if we're always remembering to attend to our needs. Then from that position of strength, offering out to others, replenishing ourselves as we offer our caring and kindness to those around us. And then we can even just release the breath, perhaps coming back into your space, opening your eyes if they're closed, perhaps with an intention to recognize that there really is no difference between this imagery or meditation and life. Just having an intention to remember this strength, this caring, this compassion, and to remember to take time to care for yourself. So hopefully you found some utility in that.